Pam's your boss too? Take it up with her. You got her here.
Yeah. You've got the communities. They listen to you. They look up to you. Literally.
I am just a soldier.
But you could be so much more. You could change this place.
Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Jarrell here.
And I'm Josh. And today we're here to talk about Walking Dead Mercer. Is his storyline leading or matching up with Rick's storyline from the source material?
Yeah, guys. So, spoiler warning, anyway. We usually have to mention this just because, yeah, the comic's been over for probably close to 2 years. Yeah, you just said it. But just, yeah, spoiler warnings. I'm sure you guys
we're past that. If you haven't read the source material yet.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah. So, so, you know, Rick had a very big story in the Commonwealth, of course, and, you know, with his seeing how the Commonwealth is being done, you know, once the rioting kind of starts, he's the one to kind of stop the war because there's you know, Pamela wants to go to war, but he stops it, and he gives this amazing speech, and in the end, you know, we always heard Rick saying, you know, we are the Walking Dead, and he gives this speech that says we are not the Walking Dead, and the speech was absolutely amazing, and he does unfortunately get killed for it because Sebastian blames him for changing the Commonwealth way. You know, they arrested Pamela, and Sebastian killed him for it.
And not just taking away the Commonwealth way, but taking his life away, essentially. Taking away his
way of life.
Lavish lifestyle.
Exactly. Yeah. And right now, because we haven't seen much inside the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth right now is, yes, they're coming up with a story. They kind of they're coming up with a way to write the material to give the people a sense of what's going on. But there isn't really that focal person that's been inside that's going to start this. But we've kind of already started it. We've kind of seen the beginnings of this with Mercer.
We've seen parallels, yeah.
Yeah, good parallels, too.
And we did see it initially with Daryl. Now, I think those have subsided with the most recent events of Daryl not being in the Commonwealth. And matter of fact, he's definitely not going to be in the Commonwealth now because he's with the group that is, quote-unquote, been exiled. But with Mercer, it's a lot different because here you have someone that does have that relationship with Sebastian. He's been around Sebastian. And Mercer's now, and I think he always has known the bad about Commonwealth. But now it's to the point where Mercer's starting to take action about it.
Yeah, so he's kind of, you know, he's giving hints and stuff to Daryl like, hey, they're always watching you. The Commonwealth isn't what you've seen, what it seems to be. But I think we really started to see the progression, or kind of see the parallels of where it's leading towards, was when he was talking with Max.
Max's conversation was the biggest point to, okay, could we start seeing a lineup with the Rick Grimes story? And that's right when Max questioned, we need you as a leader, right? Now then I'll punt this back to you. Is Mercer that speech leader type?
I think he can be. I think, you know, with the conversation that Max gave, you know, she was like, look, the people trust you. They love you. She's like, literally, you're on posters all over the place, right? You are revered by the people. And I love the line, you know, his line is, I'm just a soldier. I'm just doing my job. I'm going to be quiet. I'm seeing things go crazy, you know, in his mind. He's like, I'm seeing all this weird stuff happen, and apparently I'm not in charge of most people. Like, oh, you don't have the authority. He's seeing it, but I loved her line of, do you want to be just a soldier or just a poster on the wall? Yeah. Because you can be much more. Yeah. So yes, I could see Mercer giving a speech trying to stop the battle between our group and the Commonwealth, because he's revered, and because he has the people behind him.
It actually makes a lot more sense than Rick Grimes doing it. You know, say we still had Rick Grimes, and actually let's just go back to the source material, and you know, if you look at it from almost like a reality perspective, like a foreigner and I say foreigner, like someone from a different community, Rick Grimes coming from Alexandria into Commonwealth, giving that speech, and the people coming, backing him, being behind him. Is that really going to happen? Right? Because 50% of people, or maybe even more, would be like, hey, this guy's not from this community.
Right. He's new.
Who is he to say what we are? Right.
Exactly.
Someone coming from within, a Mercer, who's already got the respect of the people, it actually makes more sense than a Rick Grimes.
It does. Yeah, it really does. When you see it, when you see how it's going now in the show, and you kind of reflect back on the source material, it really does make more sense.
Yeah.
In the source material, Mercer was
he was still vocal.
He was still vocal. Yeah. You know, he did go to jail for a few days. He was broken out. He did go to jail as he was trying to change things and come up with a plan and things like that.
Because that is going to happen.
Yeah.
I guarantee they're going to do that.
Yeah, they'll definitely do it. But it's going to be better if it comes from Mercer, because we've always been talking like, who could get Rick's story? Is it Aaron? No. I mean, it could be Aaron, yes. Would you want Aaron to die like Rick did? No, because it's not going to have that big of an impact. Daryl would be probably the only one, but we know it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think you can include anyone at this point that's exiled. No. Any one of the group that's with Maggie and Negan, because there isn't enough time to reestablish them into the community and give them that role.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Mercer makes the most sense. Do I want him to get the death? I don't want him to, but if they do it, then it would fit, because he would be revered forever for stopping the Commonwealth to become this monster that it wants to be, bringing it back to being how Alexandria and Hilltop and Oceanside are, just the people together, and you have no class system. You're all just one group, one community. Mercer could be the one to lead that, and if he dies for it, he dies for it. I can definitely see it.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. No. But no, I can kind of see it to where, like, in the source material, they erected a statue of Rick Grimes because of, him helping and, doing what he did. Would I want them to do a statue for Mercer? No. But you can still, he can have a plaque or something, like be revered still forever.
I don't think that Mercer should get the statue, and that's nothing against the character. That's nothing against the actor. But it goes back to the story of The Walking Dead, and that belongs to Rick Grimes. And if you looked at the seasons before Rick had exited, he was taking that role on. It was about him rebuilding the world, and it was him that did it. Yeah. And now it kind of feels like that's gone, and I think that's why they can still do the death and give him honor with the death.
Yeah, definitely. When Rick, before his disappearance, that was one thing that was kind of, butting heads between him and Daryl. I mean, Daryl, he didn't fully understand. He's like, why are you wanting to do this? Why are you wanting to bring the saviors in? And, even though they're ex-saviors or whatever. And, Rick had to explain. He's like, look, Carl gave me this idea. There's something better. There's always something more. And we have to build towards that. Daryl understood it, but he just felt Rick was kind of going at it the wrong way. And he didn't fully understand it at that point in time. But now, it's kind of gone now. I mean, that they want to rebuild, they want to become more, but it's with Commonwealth, they kind of got a sense of it a little bit. But they're seeing Commonwealth as almost like how we saw Alexandria. They were hiding behind walls, and they became complacent. And that's kind of how they see the Commonwealth. They're complacent. Yeah, they got soldiers, but they don't really go out and do anything unless they have to. But now we know on the inside, they take regular citizens and force them to do things because they're in debt and they made wrong decisions and doing evil things. It's
going to be interesting how this all plays out. Yeah. Especially with Mercer. Me personally, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to see him die. But
I don't want to see him die.
But it's such an iconic death at this point. And it's iconic because of who it happened to in the source material, right? But at the same time, it's all making sense. It's all lining up. Like that last scene with Sebastian, tell me that he is not a psycho that's starting to lose his grip on reality. Like he's starting to realize that I'm not going to have the same life. And just wait until there's a person in front of him that's causing him not to have that same life. He's going to go off.
Yeah, he's going to go crazy. Could they redo it and rehash it to where nobody dies by Sebastian, they definitely could. Maybe he can attempt to kill somebody, but maybe it's not going to be in the dead of night.
Does Sebastian kill his own mother?
I could see something happening where he wants to double cross his mom, because right now he's not seeing his mother right now. His money's been taken away. That's why he did the heist. He's trying to get have his money for his lifestyle. I think the more it goes on, we'll have to wait and see for 11C. The more it goes on, I think he might just start losing his mind and go crazy. I could probably see it.
Yeah. I could, because one thing I didn't like in the source material was it almost seemed like Pamela Milton just took a step back and was okay with
the way he acted.
That, and okay with how things ended with her, right? Like her reign in the Commonwealth. This Pamela Milton doesn't seem like she's going to be willing to let that go.
No, definitely
right?
not.
Not as the same.
Not that I see right now. We haven't, unfortunately gotten much with her, but we will in this last half. Yeah. But I could see that. I could definitely see it. Yeah, guys, I think it is leading towards that Mercer is kind of taking that role. He's going to take the leadership. I think he's going to become more of a leader. He's going to become more outspoken now.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Let me ask you this. So Carl, right? Who takes Carl's? Princess? Walking Mercer back to his room the night after all the events go down.
Oh, you're talking about if they kill him? Yeah, it would probably be Princess.
And then she walks into him zombified.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like who replaces Carl in that?
Yeah, it would be Princess.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it would be Princess. That'd be sad, because we know that they survive they survive the series together.
Well, and she will too.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, guys, I think that it is leading towards Mercer's kind of taking that piece. We'll have to see how they do it. I'm hoping that they don't. We know for a fact, because Angela Kang has mentioned it. Even Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron, he's even said that they're not doing a lot of stuff from the source material in the end. And of course, they couldn't go into details of what that is, but they said they're not doing a lot of it. And so I think they're going to be pulling out
the skip,
big pieces of it. I can see them still doing a skip, but just not that long.
Yeah.
Which would suck, because if Rick is not back, that's then pushing almost close to 15 years. He's going to be gone. But I think the biggest ones would be, we're not going to have Dwight's death unless they give that to somebody. We haven't gotten to that part yet. The big Rick death, who would that go to if it doesn't go to anybody? Okay, great. Let's pull that out. Let's have Sebastian be pissed at somebody and maybe try to kill someone, but it just doesn't happen. And then,
the Dwight thing, there's no character to take that.
No, there's no one.
No one forcefully wants to take the Commonwealth and make it theirs, and that doesn't fit.
That's gone.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's been. I would imagine that's been fully pulled, because there's no one in there. There's no one in there that's taken that role that would want to try to forcefully take the Commonwealth and get Dwight's death.
Honestly, even if the actor that played Dwight was still in this Walking Dead series, it still wouldn't fit. Because he just didn't seem like that type of person.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit with his character either, because by the end, he wouldn't have had that trait.
Yeah.
I think. So, all the stuff they changed.
I know, right? Like, they changed a lot. And some of it, look, guys, some of it is really good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the way that they're doing the Commonwealth story.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's been great.
It's better than what we got in the source material, I believe. There was things we liked, but it was so rushed because it was the end that, it's a lot better.
Yeah,
a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let us know what you think if Mercer is going to be taking that role. Let us know if he's going to get the full story or just parts of it, and then they'll leave out the bad stuff. They just won't do it at all. But do you really feel that Mercer is going to be the one to unite the people of the Commonwealth, our group, and say this way of leading and this way of how Pamela has been ruling us is not how we need to be? We need to change. We fully believe it is going to be Mercer.
Absolutely.
Because he's the only one really on the inside to speak his voice and has a majority, we don't know the percentage, of 50,000 people, but the majority of the people. We would imagine that the middle class and lower class people will be on board.
Make up 90% of that.
Yeah.
I mean, the 1%ers, right?
Right, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So it's going to be a majority. And yeah, guys, we'll know in the trailer, because when we hear Mercer having a speech,
Well, I think they'll,
unless they completely remix it,
they will.
I think they'll just cut everything out. Like, they won't show that at all.
I think the 11C trailer is going to be so, like you said, kind of just like the first couple episodes. I think they won't put anything in the end.
Let me ask you this,
because it'll spoil it.
Do you think in the trailer we'll get Governor Milton on a horse saying attack?
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet. Exactly like the source
Because
material.
that's the scene, guys.
Yeah, that's the scene. Attack, and they're just like,
There's two sides.
Our group's on one side, the Commonwealth's on the other, and yeah,
The 1%ers are on the other.
exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Ready
I
to
can't wait
fight.
for that scene. I can't wait.
It's gonna be so good. Once again, guys, make sure you like the video if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more Walking Dead news and theories from us. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.